Welcome to the Ben Daniel Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you today in a world full of victims, in a league full of victims, in a landscape where it seems like if you just cry and complain, woe is me, everybody is against me, wah, you seem to be rewarded for doing the most complaining. For being the most offended, you seem to get the most benefits. In a world of victims, be more like Caitlin Clark. In a league full of victims, be more like Caitlin Clark. With athletes that behave more and more like victims, act like Caitlin Clark. Now, as those of you guys know by now, Caitlin Clark has been named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. A nice, lengthy, hefty, hearty article diving into the weeds, into the mix, going back to Iowa, bringing it full circle to where we are now, going into all of the storylines, all of the narratives, all of the drama that took place within the WNBA season. She even said that Taylor Swift dropped off 4 bags of merch on Caitlin Clark's doorstep. So just brace yourselves. We know that collaboration is soon coming. I mean, this article was Caitlin Clark's opportunity to play the victim. This article was Caitlin Clark's opportunity. The door is open to play the victim, to point the fingers, to push away all accountability, to feed into all narratives. And what does Caitlin Clark do? She does the opposite of that. And this tweet, shout out to you, Fetty Film, this tweet encapsulates that beautifully. Caitlin was really born to be the face of the W. That article is what grace and being a class act is all about, despite how she was treated this year. She could have leaned into being a victim, but instead, she protected the brand and the players that would never do the same for her. Not lying. If the shoe was on the other foot, these players, this league, that brand would have taken every opportunity to throw darts in that direction. Taken every opportunity to throw shade in that direction. To discredit that woman right there. And we saw it all season long. From the WNBA leadership all the way down to the players within the WNBA. Caitlin Clark rose above all narratives. Let's start here with the Olympics. Many people rush to Caitlin Clark's defense after not making the Olympic roster. The gist of a pro Clark case was women's basketball missed a golden opportunity marketing the sport given Clark's popularity. It's an argument that Clark rejects. I don't want to be there because I'm somebody that can bring attention, says Clark. I love that for the game of women's basketball, but at the same time, I want to be there because they think I'm good enough. I don't want to be some little person that is kind of dragged around for people to cheer at and only watch because I'm sitting on the bench. That whole narrative kind of upset me because that is not fair. It's disrespectful to the people that were on the team that had earned it and were really good. And it's also disrespectful to myself. Fair. Now, my pushback here. Caitlin, we all said you were good enough, right? The people that said that it was only a marketing standpoint, only a marketing thing, were the dum-dums on ESPN. Were the fools on ESPN that saying she might not be better than the other players, but when it comes to a notoriety and popularity standpoint, you need to put Caitlin Clark in there. That was my case for Angel Reese getting put in there. Let's be clear. Let me clarify that. That was my case for Angel Reese. Notoriety, popularity, bring eyes to the game. Caitlin Clark should have been there on merit, skill, talent alone. Angel Reese should have been on that team. Speaking to the reasons, Caitlin, popularity, NIL, raise awareness of the game. Now again, You might not like that being a reason, but if we're sacrificing the me for the we, you guys picking up what I'm putting down? I might not like that, but if that's what it takes to raise the women's game, then maybe I should be on board with that. She won't say that because we're not going to do this. Because we're not going to throw darts. We're not going to throw arrows. We're not going to throw shade. Caitlin Clark doesn't have that luxury. She needs to be stone in the face of adversity. She's like a quarterback of an NFL team. If we win, it's because of you. If we lose, it's because of me. If the league thrives, it's because of you. If it doesn't thrive, I need to do better. Caitlin Clark, moving on to the next thing. Caitlin Clark says she hears the calls imploring her to step up for her colleagues, particularly in a league known for its outspokenness on social justice issues. A league known for its outspokenness on social justice issue. Again, a league full of players that tell us they would love to just be able to shut up and dribble. You have every right to shut up and dribble. You guys are choosing to being outspoken and protest. That's a choice, just so we're aware. I'm probably the most popular player in the league at the moment, and somebody a lot of people turn to have a voice on this type of stuff, says Clark. I hope we can do better job as a league of protecting our players and putting better resources around them to make it a safer environment. And obviously, there's only so much you can police on social media because we don't have full control over social media, but there is a responsibility. I understand that, and I acknowledge that. So her message to bad faith actors, just stop, because that's not who I am. Bad faith act, online trolls. Just throwing this out there. We will never fully have control over social media. I don't even like hearing that in a sentence. I don't even like hearing that in a sentence. But piggybacking off of that, Time Magazine also had to lean into some of the toxicity. Marking advantage granted by her race, fouls that players committed against her, or her exclusion from the U.S. team that spurred her so-called defenders to push racist, misogynistic, anti-LGBTQ narratives or even threaten WNBA players. She calls this toxicity upsetting and gross. But during the season, she addressed the discourse mostly when asked about it in courtside interviews or at a press conference rather than proactively engaging with it. It's not something I can control, and to be honest, I don't see a lot of it, she told The Athletic. Her extended interview with Time is the first time she's talked at length about over a year. Again, Caitlin, why bother talking about the stuff that you face, the adversity that you go through, when we could talk about the league, when we could talk about everybody else, when we can highlight everybody else? Time Magazine, you're not slick. You're not slick. You think you're slick, but you're not slick. You think you're slick, but you're not slick. You think you're slick, but you're not slick. You might be fooling the 46,000 old ones, but I got fresh eyes. I got fresh eyes. I clean these every morning. Young ears. You're not slick, right? I listen to the music and I hear the and I cop a rhythm to that, right? I'm listening to it and I'm listening to the bass drop before the bass drops. I'm listening, Time, and you're not slick. Trust me, you guys aren't slick. Clark is cognizant of the racial underpinnings of her stardom. I want to say I've earned every single thing, and this is why you're not slick, Time. This is why you're not slick. We want to highlight this, but we also want to sneak in and slide in our agendas and our narratives at the same time. You're not slick. You think you're slick, but you're not slick. Clark is cognizant of the racial underpinnings of her stardom. I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there's privilege on her Paige Becker shit. A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, and continue to have brands and companies invest in those players that have made this league incredible. I think it's very important. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing. Great speech, Paige. That was awesome. Great job. Again, Time Magazine. This is why you think you're slick. You're not slick, but You think you're slick. You're not slick, but you think you're slick. It's unfortunate. And then Time Magazine even goes out and gets a random black lady. All of this is really speaking to something much larger than Caitlin Clark, says a scholar of African American history at American University. It's speaking to our unresolved issues about race, gender, and sexuality in American society at this particularly fraught moment in our political landscape. Again, Time Magazine, you think you're slick, but you're not slick. You think you're slick, but you're not slick. And we can't talk about the racial underpinnings and this, that, and the third if we don't talk about Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark on Angel Reese, the only thing people cared about was this controversy that was really fabricated and made up. And then that has to be continued to be the case ever since. Clark cast aside any notion that envious opponents were coming after her. I never thought I was being targeted, says Clark. Obviously, that shouldn't ever happen within a game, but basketball is physical. Your emotions can get the best of you. My emotions have gotten the best of me many times, she says. She did not see Reese cheering from the bench. I don't even know if she really knew what happened, says Clark. Honestly, I don't think she was cheering because somebody hit me. I really don't think that would be the case. I would hope not. Reese's representatives did not make her available for this article. Couldn't be bothered to throw some support. Caitlin Clark. I mean, it is what it is, folks. But again, Time, you're not slick. You think you're slick, but you're not slick. You think you're slick, but you're not slick, right? Don't cut your nose to spite your face, right? A little sleight of hand in this article, Time Magazine, I got to be honest. But hopefully, some of the Caitlin Clark detractors, some of the race-baiting old WNBA guard losers, some of the old WNBA media can read these quotes, take a fucking stick, and shove it up their ass. I'm just saying. A lot of the narratives that they tried to peddle themselves, Caitlin Clark said, you can have that. I ain't even mad at that. So can we dead this? We're not going to dead this because there's going to be somebody out there like Jamel Hill that's going to find some reason, some way, some shape, some form to be offended by something Caitlin Clark just said. Caitlin Clark, she can't win when it comes to this. It's unfortunate, but she can't win because the victims will always be victims. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate all of the support. Please like the video if you enjoyed today's content. Subscribe to the channel. I will so greatly appreciate it. As always, take it easy.